Over a period of a few days, Pulsar Helium announced major flow test results at its Topaz Helium project and raised £3.7 million. To find out about the significance of the results of the flow test and the funds, I'm delighted to be joined by President and Chief Executive Thomas Abraham James. So, Thomas, is the assumption that the money in its entirety is being used to progress Topaz after those flow test results?
Hi, Sarah. And yes, that's indeed the case. So we're obviously very happy with the results that we've received from the Jetstream #1 well at the Topaz project. And so, look, it's been a long time coming, and we got those results, and they really did surpass expectations. So with the natural flow that we were seeing there, compared to the 2024 result for the same well before it was deepened, now it's coming out at a natural flow rate that's more than 3 times what we saw last year. So that is incredibly pleasing. It really firms up the geological model that reservoir does extend deeper. And so that's got wonderful implications for the project. And so certainly now on the back of that, with the certainly the impetus that's there and the encouragement that we've seen de-risking the project, the funds will be apportioned to advancing the Topaz project in its entirety. So all the money will be going to that. And we put out there too that we're looking to do additional drilling. So now that we have this information, we have to keep in mind that this is effectively a new discovery, that the Jetstream 1 and Jetstream 2 wells are the only wells that have been drilled. The amount of information that we've now gathered and the ability to now step out and drill additional resource drilling is certainly where we'll be apportioning most of the money raised to doing that and getting to work immediately as well. So it's an exciting time for the company with a lot of news flow coming up.
Okay, so let me inject a compare and contrast question, because in terms of those flow test results, what other existing projects can you compare it to? Or is there no other helium project out there to compare it with?
Yeah, ours is a bit of an outlier. It really is geologically. It's quite different. So I guess with the flow rates, if we focus purely on that, is if you look at primary helium systems, so this is where they're not associated with natural gas, what you do see is lower flow rates than if there are hydrocarbons present. So that is very normal. The other thing too that makes ours different, so out of the non-hydrocarbon helium occurrences out there, our flow rates certainly are very good. And then with the other thing is that not associated with water. So we've seen for some other primary helium occurrences around the globe on different continents where they're getting high helium percentages, the flow is associated with water, and that brings its own complexities with it as well. So from a processing point of view, where the gas is a fizz gas, but then what do you do with all that water that's being produced as well? And we don't. So our gas is dry gas. So it is gas coming out that is then ready to go straight into any processing plant. So a lot of advantages with what we've got.
Okay, so you are happy with the flow test results, but let's go back to the fundraise, because many investors were not happy about the fundraise. Some were asking why you needed to raise funds by issuing shares when you had the option of drawing down project financing from University Bank.
Yeah, certainly. Look, I can appreciate that. And once again, it's like the third largest shareholder in the company. Like, I can certainly agree with the sentiment that, regarding dilution. But really, we did have a pause for the company whilst we were waiting to do the well cleanup and getting these flow test results. We've used that time quite wisely to be able to set up, to be able to say, okay, as soon as we get those results, then we can go out and do this additional work program. So what we have really for us is it's a question of time. And so, okay, so if we can go out and hit it really hard now, go out, do this additional drilling, and so that by Q1 of next year, really to then say, okay, we've completed the additional drilling, we've got the flow test results, and really our objective is overall is to get to that production milestone, to achieve that. And in order to do so, we have to do work. And so with that time question, it's like, okay, do we wait? We use the 4 million facility and so on, see what else happens. Or if we get the additional funds in now and be able to meet that, that internal milestone that I've mentioned, so that beginning of next year, we'd be in a place where we can really start to look at, the production potential of Topaz. for me, it's like, well, it's really a case of we need to crack on the back of these good results and get it moving. And look, I think with the news flow that we've got coming up, with the very encouraging results that we've just had, I think that really, whilst it's always not great equity, dilutive financing, but I think with what we've got, I think that there'll be plenty of eyes on the company. And I'm really excited about the results that we're going to generate and just how quickly we're going to do it, and the sheer amount of news flow. So, I think that for anyone out there, querying why, this is the answer. And I think that we're going to see the company, really, we're doing everything to make it rapidly accelerate and get to that point where we don't have to dilutive financing, where we can start to talk about, potential production. And that's where we need to be. And we want to get there in a timely fashion.
Okay, so this raise and the timing of the raise, how does this raise fit into the overall capital plan for the next 12 to 18 months? Because you keep saying there's going to be a lot of news flow.
Yeah, no, look, it's with the drilling in particularly where most of it's going to. So that will, most of the financing will go towards that. And so, that capital should do, the drilling that we want to get done. Then there's going to be the feasibility test and study, I should say, and that's going to be with Chart Industries. So already the data that we're getting from the wells going off to them, and then ultimately a resource update sometime in the new year once we've completed the additional drilling. And really, it's a results-based business. So the more encouragement we see, everything on track. And then really the quicker we can get to that, that feasibility document where we can start to show then that we have robust economics, and then we can make that pivot away from equity financing and with any luck start to get to debt when we can talk to end users about offtake. And really we are acutely aware of the end users out there for the product. But really, we need to be in a position to say, okay, what is the size of the prize? How big is this resource? And can appreciate that with 2 wells drilled to date, it's going to be limited to where those wells are. With the additional drilling that's out there, you'd expect the footprint to be significantly bigger. And with that, then in terms of any production projections out there, we can start to talk far more realistically with any potential off-takers. So, yeah, it's there's going to be a lot out there.
Okay, so finally, there's just over 4 months left of 2025. What will you be updating shareholders about, and will any of it include a pivot?
Look, I don't think that, really, for starters, we've got additional results coming from Jetstream 1, Jetstream 2. So we'll be releasing those to the market as and when they're available. And then there is this additional drilling that we're looking to embark upon. So we'll have more details on that. And with this, these holes will all be targeted at the helium-bearing reservoir. And so those are a relatively quick method, looking at doing multiple holes. And so for those, there'll be quite regular news flows about that as well. So really, it's going to be pretty significant, and as I say, very exciting.
Okay, I appreciate that you can't tell me things until they happen. Thomas Abraham James, President and Chief Executive of Pulsar Helium, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.